You're listening to the Health and Happiness Podcast with Travis Kemper and
Lauren Maxwell. Each episode, we share easy to implement strategies to improve your health, happiness, and overall quality of life.
Psychologists call this decision fatigue. The more choices we are forced to make, the more the quality of our decisions deteriorates. Greg McEwen. How's it going, Travis?
Good. I just closed all my tabs except for this one. And honestly, it felt very rewarding. I feel great.
Wow, what a good update. Maybe we should
I
do an
don't really have
episode
anything else.
on clearing your computer and how that affects your mental state.
Yeah, totally. I decluttered my entire life by closing tabs on my computer.
That's amazing.
Feels amazing.
I have yet to do that.
What's up, Lauren? How's it going?
It's going good. We saw Panic at the Disco last weekend, and it was an amazing show. I was super nervous, actually, because I feel like the last time that I was really excited to see one of my favorite bands in concert, it wasn't as good of an experience as I was hoping. But this one blew me out of the water. Brendan Urie's voice literally sounded the exact same in person as he does on his albums, and he even brought in a live cellist, violinist, trombone player, and saxophone player and had them performing with him for a lot of the songs. The crowd was also, absolutely incredible. I've never been surrounded by so many people who were all singing along to every word the entire show. It was like a 2-hour performance, and it just incredible.
I'm glad it lived up to your expectations.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So good. I would 10 out of 10 would go see them again. So
Did you
what
try
are
and rhyme?
What?
Did you try and rhyme?
Did I try and I don't know. I'm a poet.
10
And I
out
don't
of
know
10,
it.
I would go see them again.
You're right. I'm a poet and I don't know it. So what are we going to talk about today, Travis?
Decision fatigue and how to combat it.
Awesome. So what is decision fatigue? Decision fatigue is a psychological phenomenon surrounding a person's ability or capacity to make decisions. It is also called ego depletion. The theory surrounding decision fatigue is that a human's ability to make decisions can get worse after making many decisions, as their brain will be more fatigued. This fatigue applies to all decisions, not simply just the large or more difficult ones.
So is it real? Many experts still do not fully accept the notion of decision fatigue, partly due to the difficulty of proving the effects in any concrete way. A meta-analysis in the journal of Psychological Research notes that existing research only shows low evidence for ego depletion, but that it is still too early to make conclusive claims either way. As a study in the journal Frontiers in Psychology notes, the lack of a specific definition that is easy to categorize and tests may be one of the reasons researchers are still debating the effect. Decision fatigue is also difficult to quantify and test for. Researchers have observed the phenomenon, however. For instance, a study in health psychology found that nurses tended to make less efficient and more expensive clinical decisions about patient care the longer they went without a break.
The underlying cause of decision fatigue may have to do with a person's stress levels and the number of decisions that they have to make each day. The weight of these decisions also matters. Most people have to make a large number of decisions each day. From the moment we wake up, we start making them. From what kind of clothes to wear, what to have for breakfast, and what to listen to on the way to work, to business decisions, social interactions, and even choices of what to do in leisure time. These all have their own inherent decisions involved that we must weigh up and make, either consciously or subconsciously. More complex decisions may deplete our energy levels faster. As the day goes on and we have to make more and more decisions, our ability to choose wisely decreases.
So some possible effects of decision fatigue would be impulse buying. Most people can recognize this in the grocery store, where candy, baked goods, and special deals are placed near the registers. After making a series of decisions in the store, a person may be less likely to resist the quick deals and items near to the checkout. Trade-offs. A trade-off is a decision between two options where each option has both a negative and a positive element, which is pretty much every decision you make in life.
Mm-hmm.
A person experiencing decision fatigue may be reluctant to make these decisions, take longer to make them, or simply make a decision that they later regret. Decision avoidance. Some people may start to neglect, ignore, or avoid decisions altogether when they feel drained. This avoidance behavior may cause this person to simply choose the default or most socially acceptable option rather than the option that is right for them. Procrastination is another form of decision avoidance wherein a person puts off making a decision for another day or until the need to make the decision disappears altogether.
So there are three antecedent themes to decision fatigue. The first is decisional antecedent. So basically, this is making a series of previous decisions is an important antecedent to the development of decision fatigue. Makes sense. The second one is self-regulatory antecedent. The literature consistently identifies that partaking in acts of self-regulation predicted the manifestation of decision fatigue. For example, a directed effort to regulate your attention, emotion, thoughts, and self-control contributed to the development of decision fatigue. And thirdly, the situational antecedent. A review of the literature identifies several key situational antecedents that were commonly predictive of decision fatigue. The first situational antecedent relates to the time of day. One study revealed that the time of day was associated with decision fatigue among students taking standardized tests, with students performing poorer as the day progressed. Circulating levels of blood glucose and physiologic predisposition to efficient glucose metabolism is also implicated in the development of decision fatigue. An additional situational antecedent related to time of day and blood glucose levels implicated in the development of decision fatigue is physiological fatigue. Specifically, sleep deprivation and physiological fatigue are implicated in impaired decision making.
So there's also three attributional themes to decision fatigue. One is behavioral attributes. Excuse me. The most common attribute of decision fatigue relates to behavioral attributes. There is a diverse spectrum of decision-making behaviors that may be anticipated from those experiencing decision fatigue, from acting impulsively, delaying action, not acting at all, or simply choosing a default option. Our experience of our emotions is altered as well. Decision fatigue can cause one to experience things more intensely. Frustrations seem more irritating than usual in these situations. Cognitive attributes. In addition to behavioral alterations related to decision fatigue, evidence suggests that individuals experience alterations in cognitive functioning. Decision fatigue not only reduces executive functioning, but it also inhibits reasoning ability. Individuals who make decisions and experience decision fatigue are more susceptible to the use of cognitive heuristics, i.e., a mental shortcut. For example, individuals required to make decisions in states of decision fatigue are prone to rely on heuristics that may bias decision making, potentially resulting in decisions that yield undesirable outcomes. And physiological attributes. There's also evidence suggesting that individuals experiencing decision fatigue suffer from a subsequent deterioration in physical endurance.
A large body of evidence in psychology suggests that judgments and decisions made under greater pressure, distraction, or fatigue tend to be made more heuristically, like Travis was saying. In this model, decisions arise either from System 1, in which the decision is made using quick and easy intuitive cognitive processes, or from System 2, in which decisions are the result of slow, rigorous reasoning processes. System 2 thinking, which is non-heuristic decision making, requires more mental resources. So individuals tend to switch to System 1 thinking, which is the heuristic decision making, after an extended period of System 2 thinking. A 2018 study investigated whether decision fatigue is systematically associated with the forecasting behavior of sell-side security analysts' annual earnings per share forecasts. Results showed that analysts become more decision fatigued during the day. When mental resources are high, analysts use the System 2 thinking and make well-reasoned decisions. However, when mental resources are low, like later during the day, analysts begin to use System 1 thinking and make more intuitive, heuristic decisions.
So how can decision fatigue affect the law? Does the outcome of legal cases depend solely on laws and facts? Prior research suggests that making repeated judgments or decisions depletes individuals' executive function and mental resources, as we talked about earlier in this episode, which can in turn influence their subsequent decisions. Sequential choices and the apparent mental depletion that they evoke also increase people's tendency to simplify decisions by accepting the status quo. These studies hint that making repeated rulings can increase the likelihood of judges to simplify their decisions. A 2011 study noted that this tendency can be overcome by taking a break to eat a meal, consistent with previous research demonstrating the effects of a short rest, positive mood, and glucose on mental resource replenishment. Some of these studies have found that judges consistently give out more lenient sentences first thing in the morning and directly after lunch than they do right before lunch or at the end of the day.
So how does this affect healthcare? A 2019 study found a strong link between surgeons' decisions to operate and the sequence of patient appointments that they face throughout the day. Much fewer patients are scheduled for operation by surgeons who are nearing the end of their work shift. This was attributed to decision fatigue, that surgeons become more inclined to rely on heuristics and go with the status quo option when tired.
Another study looked at whether nurses for a national medical telephone helpline showed evidence of decision fatigue as measured by a shift from effortful to easier and more conservative decisions at the time since their last rest break increases. The results showed that for every consecutive call taken since the last rest break, the odds of nurses making a conservative management decision, like arranging for callers to see another healthcare professional on the same day, increased by 5.5%. 5.5% for every call?
Mm-hmm.
Whoa!
Yeah, big. That's big.
That's crazy, because that's compounding each call, which means, I imagine you're making 10 calls easy in a shift. Wow.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
That is wild.
That's big increase. A 2021 study investigated whether decision fatigue affects institutional bidding decisions. Results suggest that decision-fatigued institutions will submit less accurate bids. This impact of decision fatigue is less pronounced in funds and brokerage firms. It was also found that fatigued institutions will bid at rounded prices, bid conservatively, and eventually obtain fewer allocation shares and lower profits. The economic consequence of more fatigued institution in an initial public offering is that the elasticity is relatively smaller, indicating that bids from fatigued institutions are less informative.
So how can we combat decision fatigue? Make important decisions first. If each decision depletes a person's energy, it may be best to make the most important decisions as early in the day as possible. Whether it's a tough phone call, a hard project, or another difficult task, making important decisions early in the day may prevent decision fatigue when facing these choices. Removing distractions. The choice to engage with distractions that pull a person away from a project can be a form of decision fatigue. Choosing to look at a cell phone, browse social media, or glance at the television may drain their willpower for tasks later in the day. Removing these distractions may help a person reduce this fatigue and engage with the tasks at hand. Simplifying your wardrobe. Some people reduce decision fatigue by simplifying routine choices such as wardrobe instead wearing a similar outfit each day. I do this. Simplifying everyday decisions such as these may help people feel less stress from the first decisions in their day.
Planning meals is another great option. Planning ahead may eliminate other forms of decision fatigue. A simple example would be to make a meal plan and prepare meals for the week in advance. This can help reduce decision-making pressure in the moment and preserve brain power for more important tasks. This is one I do a lot. Taking breaks. Physical fatigue may also play a role in decision fatigue. Some people might simply make worse decisions when tired. Taking rest breaks throughout the day as needed may help these people recharge. Some may even benefit from taking a short nap to help refresh their brain. And then delegating decisions. Stop micromanaging and let other people in your life make some decisions. There are times where your coworkers can pick the lunch spot, or your kids can choose the playlist, or your friends can pick the restaurant. By delegating, you also empower people by showing them that you trust them.
In conclusion, whether you believe decision fatigue is real or not, I promise some of the strategies we listed could be useful in your life. I, for one, love how simple my wardrobe is becoming. It just simplifies my life, and I can guarantee there's a huge difference in my diet when healthy food is prepared and ready versus when I have to choose what to make each day. Quick and easy usually wins. So if I can just warm something healthy up after work, I will consistently do that instead of snacking or making a less than desirable meal.
I definitely agree with that. I am an emotional eater, so if I don't plan things out and I get home at the end of the day and I'm stressed or like something made me sad, I will much more quickly like reach for like chocolate or snacks or something that like makes me feel better, rather than something healthy. So
Comfort food.
comfort food, exactly. I mean, that's the literal
That's
definition.
why it's called it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So much better for me to meal prep and not have to make those decisions and just already have it like in a Tupperware ready to go.
Yep. Great job today, Lauren.
You too, Travis. This was fun.
This was fun. Thanks everybody for listening, and we'll see you next time.
See you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for taking the time out of your busy day to listen to this episode of the Health and Happiness Podcast. We hope you enjoyed the episode and are getting benefits from our content.
If your life is improving in part due to the information in this podcast, we would greatly appreciate you sharing the episode with your family and friends on social media and leaving us a review so we can continue to reach more people and improve the health and happiness of the community at large.
Thanks again, and we will see you next week for another episode of the Health and Happiness Podcast.